So at some point in your woodworking, you switched to spraying from whatever, brushing, rolling, all of the above. And what was your why? Why'd you do that?
I wanted a professional finish. And I mean, if you talk to professional furniture makers, they all spray their finish. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the same look that I could buy from the store.
So one of the things we want to hit on here is Elisha and I both spray our finishes. And we'll talk a little bit about the two different things that are in front of us here, but also why we have chosen to go down this route. So name a couple downsides of spraying your finish.
The number one is the prep work. It definitely requires more prep work. You got to tape everything off. You got to have drop cloths. You got to clean everything up before and after. It takes a lot more time to get started.
And then you're cleaning a gun when you're done. So yeah, there's like an environmental aspect, and it's neither of us have a spray booth, but we both spray. So that comes down to creating you got to be able to create a space in your shop, whatever that is, where you can do this. So let's hit on these guys, and then we'll come back because we need to talk about overspray, but that'll be better identifiable once we talk about sprayers. So Airless, you would advocate that primarily for?
Airless are great for painting fences, painting houses. Something big that doesn't have a lot of detail. You just want to lay some product on it.
And then in front of me is an HVLP, and more specifically, this is a turbine-based HVLP, high volume, low pressure. So I think it's pretty safe to say like this can handle everything this one does. But it's going to do it with a finer finish. For me, I spray a lot of shellac and then a water-based lacquer is my top coat. That all goes through my turbine. What's your finish of choice when you're doing clear coating? What do you primarily use?
If I do clear, I'm using a lot of water-based finishes now, so polyacrylic, and then sometimes I'll do lacquer depending on the project.
And then you're also in a HVLP gun?
I use
turbine-based?
Same. I use the same brand, different model. I love it. I want to be buried with my HVLP in my hand.
So the difference here, if you're from my very first spray gun was a compressor-based gun. And then I quickly realized because of the amount of overspray, so we're circling back to overspray, it was horrible. It was really hard to control that. That was really a gun I couldn't use in my shop because every tool would be covered with overspray when you were done.
That little dust all over.
Part of that is it wasn't HVLP, and part of that was the compressor-based aspect. So what's cool with HVLP is the turbine provides all the air that the system needs. And so what are the benefits? Why do we want this instead of a compressor?
Well, first of all, if you're going to have a compressor that you're actually going to use to paint or to push product through, it has to be a large, powerful compressor.
It takes a lot of CFM.
It does, quite a bit, which is expensive and cumbersome. It's not going to be portable, not going to be something you can move around. You're going to have it kicking on regularly, so you have the noise and maybe the dust that gets kicked up when that comes on. The nice thing about the turbines Turbine. They're so portable. And they've gotten them where they're a lot less weight than they used to be too. So it's something that pretty much everyone can pick up. You can take it outside. You can move it around your shop.
And it's clean air.
Yes.
So you probably, if you've got an air compressor, you may have noticed that like when you go to hook up your nail gun, sometimes it squirts water and air when you're connecting. And that's just the physics of compressing air is you end up with moisture in the compressed air and sometimes oil too. So if you're gonna spray with a compressor, you've got to have filters in line to take that junk out. Otherwise it goes into your finish and it'll screw up the finish. So a turbine system is more expensive at startup because like this is basically our compressor. But this only provides clean air. We can keep this up on a bench where it's above the dust on the floor so it's not intaking junk that it's pushing through the air. So bottom line, we're both advocating HVLP.
Yes.
Turbine-based.
Yep.
And then with that, I know for me, clear coat lacquer is my primary finish, but I've painted a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
And that just comes down to understanding the flow of the product, right?
Yep. And your tip selection.
And tip selection.
Yeah, I spray everything. I mean, if it's possible to spray it, I will spray it.
And I would say, especially with water-based products today, the cleaning aspect isn't the pain in the butt that used to be. Like with solvent-based stuff, it was always funky because you were running lacquer thinner through a gun. You just sprayed lacquer, and then that's got to go somewhere.
Right.
So with water-based products, it's made the cleaning aspect is way more user-friendly.
Which reminds me of something, another thing you need to keep in mind if you're going to be spraying anything is you're going to atomize that product, which gives you the chance of inhaling it a little bit more than if you're applying it with a brush. So a little bit more personal protection on that. Make sure you're...
It's back to that environmental aspect of an exhaust fan.
Yep, and a good respirator.
And not a... This is a whole different thing than a particulate mask. A VOC mask is a whole different thing than a particulate mask. So you got to make sure you're protected there.
Especially if you're spraying solvent-based.
All right. Any other words of wisdom for your fans?
It's worth it. Jump in. I always recommend to people these turbine systems can be a little bit expensive, but jump in, get your feet wet. There are HVLP models now under $100 that will still give you a really, really nice finish. So jump in, buy something. Once you've used it and you discover you love it, like we do, you might be more interested in investing in a more expensive system.
Don't get the paralysis through analysis thing. You got to try it. There's a lot of content online of showing you how to set up a gun, how to use a gun, how to test your finishes, viscosity. So take advantage of that. And I'm a huge advocate of spraying. The surface, the finish quality out of a sprayer is so much better than what you're going to get off even a super high quality brush or roller.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well worth it.
All right. Works for both of us.